Hey guys, welcome to the Fatherless Cheat Sheet. And today, I'm solo again. I hope everybody liked the last solo episode. I'm assuming if you didn't, you're not listening now, so what's the difference? But welcome back to the Fatherless Cheat Sheet. I'm Andrew. Today we're talking a little bit about fatherless fatherhood. And for me personally, the most amazing thing, the best thing I've ever done in my life is being a father. I love my children more than life itself. I never really had a concern that I wasn't prepared because I didn't have a father. There are certain things that I had to figure out, but I never really had that concern. My concerns initially with having children, first of all, my oldest child was born right as the COVID pandemic hit and the world shut down. So they basically threw us out of the hospital, and we came home with this beautiful child, and the world was on fire. But you do what you have to do, and everybody was terrified and on the same page. And now she's in kindergarten, and it's sort of hard to believe how fast that time went. So it's very much a great heaping tablespoon of perspective as the example. As I was walking her home from school, the police officer who helped us cross the street was the same police officer that put her car seat in the car for the first time, because they say that you do that. You let the cops do that the first time, or whatever service. So we did it. And so to see him, and I said, by the way, I'm sure you don't remember us, and certainly not her, because she was a tiny baby, but you helped. Actually, she wasn't there yet. What am I talking about? Couldn't have remembered her because she wasn't there yet. Didn't have the baby yet. So he helped us put the seat in the car. And I said, this is her. She's doing great. Here we are. But the time that just sort of ticks by is sort of very, very humbling. I never, my fear always was in, and still is every day. I've always been a worrier. I've always been very overprotective. And I've always been very sort of analytically minded in my sort of gaming out what's where, who's there, what can happen here, stuff like that. So when you have children, if you do have children, you may know what I mean. I'm sure you do. If you don't have children, it's like concern times a million at all times and forever, because there are these humans that you love that you don't even understand the capacity for the love that you have for them. It doesn't even make any kind of rational sense. It's something that can't be explained. It can only be experienced. To bring children in to this world, this sometimes hellscape of a world, without them wanting to be here or asking for it, is an endeavor, to say the least. But to me, and if you are able to, and if you want to, that's the most amazing thing you can do, even within all the chaos of having children and the sacrifice and the tiredness and everybody's always bitching how tired they are anyway. So it's not that big of a difference. You just complain that you're tired. Now you have an actual reason, because you have kids. By the way, fatherless tip of the day: nobody cares if you're tired. Nobody cares if you're hungry. Nobody cares if you're thirsty, if you're hot, if you're cold. Stop talking about it. Nobody cares. Okay? One of the biggest things for me in becoming a father now of two, not having a father, I had to do my best to sort of look around. And a theme that I'm going to talk about a lot is surrogates, looking at different people, how they do things, and not in a weird way. But I used to have a neighbor. He passed away years ago, and then they moved. But he was a really good man. We didn't always see eye to eye because he was a little self-righteous, but he was a good man, and he was a good father, and his kids loved him very much. I used to just watch, I was younger at the time. I used to watch how he went about his business and what he did, how they were with him. And I would never really have any kind of in-depth conversations with him, just high-level stuff. The lawn looks great. Please don't back into my car again, stuff like that. But I would observe him being a dad, and he was a really great dad, and he was loved. And he passed away somewhat recently. But you have to look for surrogates and look how surrogates look at how people are doing things, and obviously within your own family as well is helpful if you have those father figures in your family, and you sort of piece that knowledge together. And then as you get a little bit older, as I've gotten, you're surprised to see that actually you do retain some of those things, and you have an awareness and you have instinct of your own to use for your own knowledge. So anyway, today's a little bit about fatherless fatherhood and fatherhood in general, and sort of parenting in general, really, because this show is parenting adjacent. Let's call that what it is. I didn't want to make it specifically a parenting show, but definitely has some ties into parenting. So let's give it a shot. Okay, we have some questions. Thanks so much to everybody who reached out. You can always DM me, and you can always reach out on the email as well, Fatherless Cheat Sheet Podcast @gmail.com. And of course, in the comment section of YouTube. But keep it clean and keep it nice, please. And if you don't, whatever, you do what you want. So questions. What was one of the first struggles you had with fatherhood yourself? That's a good question. Towards the beginning, I was probably ironically enough, looking for too much outward information, external information, trying to piece together what I thought I should be doing as a father, as a parent. I think as we all do. I think if there's one thing we could all humbly say is that who doesn't want to be a better parent? I don't think, of course you want to be a better parent. You want to be as good of a parent as you possibly can be. There is no ceiling to that. If you could take a magic pill and say you're the best parent you could possibly be, yeah, you take the pill. And you go. I was listening to a lot of external input, not from friends, not from family, but from information sources, the YouTube channels or the Instagram pages and things like that. So much so that this is when it stopped. I read that you really had to gauge your child to see how they were doing, their disposition, their behavior, make sure everything was copacetic in their life and everything you were doing. The cumulative result was a happy, healthy child on their way. Of course, I didn't know how to distill all this. So we're in the car one day, I'm with my oldest, who is 3, beautiful little girl. And I'm looking at her through the rearview mirror, as I do. It's like an Uber driver checking out their ride. And I just checked in with her and I said, hey, how do you think things are going so far? How are you liking things so far? Like I was some sort of middle manager talking to a seasonal worker, gauging their interest in staying on until the warmer months. I'm talking to a 3-year-old, and I don't even know what she did. She gave me raspberries or whatever sound she made, or she was speaking at the time, and she hasn't stopped since. I mean, I wonder who she gets that from. But her mother's not exactly a monk either, okay, with a vow of silence. But anyway, she was talkative at the time, but she didn't reply with anything even remotely resembling, hey, no, things are going great. I'm good. I could use a couple more yogurt pouches. What was she going to say? So it was at that point that I realized that, yeah, it's good to get some information externally and do your due diligence and new parenting trends and things and keep up to date on whatever's. But at the end of the day, you have to do what you think is right. And so long as you're caring for your child and providing safety and health for them, you're doing okay. So that was the initial challenge. Letting too much external in to try to maybe overdo it, overproduce as a parent. All right, question. This question is number 2. As a mom raising kids on my own, how can I help them to not feel the void I know is there? Oh boy. You're never going to not make them feel that void. The void's always there. It's a hole that is, you can't put other stuff in that bucket. What you can do is that you can be the absolute best version of yourself and do your best to for your own happiness, because I think when a lot of this, and I could even speak from my own experience, some of my happiest days as a kid, and even as an adult, of course, is when I have seen my mom happiest. Now my mom is happiest when she's around her grandchildren, and that makes me happy. So I think starting with yourself and work from there, I think, is probably a good bet. But don't put the pressure on yourself to stop them from feeling that void. They're always going to feel the void, and don't stop them from feeling anything. You have to experience life. You have to experience the stuff that happens. You can't just bury it. So I would say get yourself right first and feel good, and hope you can, and then maybe you can usher them with you with that. But you're not going to be able to distract them from that void. And I think a lot of times, sometimes we do is self-medicate in certain ways, and maybe a little too much whiskey here and there and stuff like that. You can't avoid the pain and the void. It's unavoidable, right? So I hope that helps a little bit. I grew up without a father. He took off when I was little. I'm scared of repeating the cycle. How can I be a good dad when I didn't have an example? Yeah, I talked a little bit about that before, about surrogates, but I think the most important thing is that you're not a product of this thing. Yeah, there are repercussions. There are repercussions of being fatherless, obviously, but I think you have to, at some point, make a choice to move on from that narrative, if you will. I think it's also important to know, the dads out there, I don't want to say the bar is low, but I mean, just showing up and being there is really important. It's not, you don't have to be dad of the year. I think parents at large put a lot of pressure on themselves. I know moms do this as well, especially working moms. I think all moms put pressure on themselves. Dads put pressure. We want to be the absolute best for our kids. We want to give our kids the best possible outcome, but we can't control that. So I think kids, if we actually could have a real conversation with our kids, not just ask them how things are going when they're 3, if we could have a real conversation and say, what do you want? I think they just want us. I think they just want us. They want to relax. They want to play with their toy and look up and see that we're sitting there, not on our phone, hunched over like a sloth. Just be there. So how do you not repeat the cycle? Just show up, dude. Just be there. Don't overthink it. It's over. He's gone. He's gone. You're not him. You're not him. That's it. Just move forward, and you're going to be great. The fact that you would even ask the question and worry about the answer shows that you're light years ahead. So just go with that. I work with a lot of young men without fathers who will ultimately be fathers themselves. Let's hope. What's one message I should make them hear? Oh, that's good. That's a good piggyback. I would say just the same. You're not where you came from necessarily. You don't have to do the thing over again. You could just, you have your choice to make your own path and do it right. You're going to fuck up. Everybody does that. Everybody fucks up. But just be there, show up, and do it with a smile. Put your own shit behind you. I think there's an aspect to being a parent where you have to, with a smile, be selfless. You have to put your shit aside. You made that choice. Now you have to live with that choice. Not live with the choice. I'm thrilled with the choice to be a parent, as is my wife. But I think some people at times feel a little put upon as parents. And that can be a problematic outlook because, hey, look, the kid didn't choose this guy, you know? So I think that my message is just be there, show up, do your absolute best, and just let it happen. Just let it be an instinctive thing. Yeah, I think that's it. Those are sort of similar questions. But that's good. Good on this guy for working with the young men, and that's cool. I didn't really have too much outreach as a kid with the like Big Brothers of America and stuff like that. That would have been cool. Ironically enough, before my mom and dad had kids, my dad was a Big Brother of America. Go figure. And anyway, one of those things. Okay. I'm the mom of 3 daughters ranging in ages from 11 to 17. We lost their father, my husband, a few years ago. I'm very sorry for that. How can I safeguard them in terms of relationships and dating? Oh boy. Keep them home. Put a lot of locks on the doors. Do not let them out. Put blinds and block the windows out. I know that's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. I would love to do that. I would love to build a bunker like he did in Blast from the Past. Oh, great Christopher Walken movie, long forgotten. I won't do my Christopher Walken impression. I told my wife I would not do that on the show. And be overprotective, build a bunker, keep them. You can't do that. What's interesting about all these questions is that a lot of the answers are sort of baked into the question itself or the interest in the question. I think that you sound like I'm really sorry for your loss and how hard the road ahead will be and has been. But I think that your interest in this and being there and being interested in your daughters' lives like that and protecting them is a good first step to protecting them. I think that being proactive in that is great. I also think that a good man, a good partner, whatever the circumstances, will know coming in, if they're a sympathetic and empathetic person, that they're dealing with now a unit of 4, you and your 3 daughters, that has been through something, and they'll have to respect that. I mean, obviously your daughter's 11, so, whoever she's dating, she shouldn't date yet. She shouldn't date just yet. Let's kick that can down the road. It's not my business, but you know what I mean. So I think that they're coming into this team of 4, and I think that they'll have to respect that. And if they're not on board with that, then they'll have to kick rocks. They'll have to get out of there. And honestly, it's not going to work, because what I felt in my life, that the unit, even when there's a loss, the unit often gets stronger. Not in every case, because everything is its own thing, but the connection, the bond gets stronger with that really tough circumstance that happens. So I would say that works. Tracking devices on all their stuff. Google works for vetting these guys. I'm joking, but I'm really not. But just getting to know some of these people as well, getting to know the people they're bringing home is important. But I wish you well and your daughters well, and I'm sure it's all gonna shake out well. And again, I'm sorry for your loss, but you just keep being a mama bear. I think this thing doesn't go around without mama bears out there. So you keep doing what you're doing, and it'll all shake out. So good luck to you. But that's all the questions we have, guys. I'm gonna just look at a couple things here. Just a couple little Reddit threads that we were interested in, thrown my way by my wonderful producers, Madison, Nicole. Just a little bit about dads. How was adjusting to a newborn? I mean, it's like kind of like living in a frat. There's shit in the sink all the time, like literal shit. Very little sleep. Extra bottles of empty whiskey around the house. It's the same as being in a frat. I wasn't in a frat, but you get my point. Okay. Hi, dads. Mom here. Our perfect little girl is 2.5 months old, and I know it's been a huge adjustment for me and my husband, 37 and 38 years old. In particular, we're low key. Oh, I see. I understand that phrase. In particular, we're low key at each other's throats in a way we've never been before. It's the lack of sleep. I'm pretty sure we both feel misunderstood and underappreciated. Amen, sister. My husband has always worked long hours, which has never been a problem until now. He's present when he's here, and he loves his little family so much, but he has to stay up late working after baby and I go to bed every night and often has long days in the office. I've been back at work part-time from home since 2 weeks postpartum. So I get up at 4 a.m. to work to get my work done before baby wakes up. I only mention all the highlights that we're both doing a lot. We're both at or above capacity. I think in our own overwhelm, we are maybe both having a hard time being empathetic to the other person's exhaustion, stress. So I want to understand a bit more what it's like for dads. I've talked to my husband some about it, but it's hard to articulate or even really understand stuff like that in the thick of it. Hindsight helps with that, I think. So dads, tell me about adjusting to a newborn from your perspective. That's a great question. And I'm going to put it out there. Before, and many moons ago, I was a bartender in New York City. So I understand what sleep deprivation is, but you don't understand what it's like to not sleep on a regular basis when you have a child. So first of all, maybe neither one of you should talk till you take a nap and then get up and chat and have a cup of coffee. This is the part that struck me the most was you both feel sort of underappreciated and neglected to a large degree. And you're both right. I don't think can't demonize anybody here. You're both correct. For dads adjusting to a newborn, the bond between mother and baby is so undeniably strong that at times it makes us feel almost as a passenger for a while. Now, I'm not being a victim at all. I get it. It's an amazing thing to witness. But you have to understand that we're kind of sitting on the sidelines a bit and to a degree. And then it's a tricky thing because, and again, I don't know your husband from Adam, but when do we sort of intervene or would it help if he gave you a break once in a while and took the baby so you could actually, I'm not saying you got to go 4 hours on a hot stone massage, but maybe a nice bubble bath would be nice and he could take the kid on a walk or something. Yeah, sure. So empathy, I think it's great that you're trying to understand where he's coming from to better improve the situation. For dads, adjusting to a newborn is tricky, and our role is very different than a mom's role. You are everything to that baby, and we are the fourth lead on NCIS New Orleans. We are there, but forgettable at times. It took me a long time to really bond completely with my children. Years still. I'm still working it every day. Just whatever. But have the understanding that, he's working, he's doing what he has to do, and it's an adjustment. And everybody gets cranky. Everybody gets real cranky. Your body's feeling and doing things that you're not sure what the hell's happening. You just grew a child, and he's dealing with all of those things. And I think that dads, to give us a little bit of credit, I think we're trying to be all things to all people, including our wives, our partners. So I would say a little bit of patience with him, and maybe maybe ask him this to his face. That might make him feel good. Sometimes just recognizing somebody's struggle or path or whatever situation they have going on right now, just to acknowledge that you see what they have going on, that maybe they're not all there, even though you're going through it, obviously, might be helpful. So, make him a nice oat milk latte and sit down with him and ask him how his day was. But good luck, and good luck to the baby. Great. Okay. Do y'all judge parents who are on the phone while the kid is playing in the park? Because that's definitely me. Kid is 4 years old. He plays completely independently, so I'm really bored while I'm there. I wish I could take a brisk walk myself, but obviously I have to stay nearby. Yeah. So, is it bad that I'm on the phone and killing time while he takes his energy out? ETA, when I'm on the phone, I'm 80% of the time browsing Reddit or 20% watching YouTube shorts at very low volume, usually dialogue videos or interviews, news-related shit mostly. LOL. I don't believe you. ETA, I don't know what that means. I guess I'll find out. ETA, again, it's like PS. When I say I'm on the phone, it does not mean that I leave him entirely to his devices to do whatever mischief he wants and continue to ignore him or anything happening around me because I'm incapable of looking up for my phone. I get it that other dads are mad that they encountered some inattentive parents who were so oblivious to their kids' antics that it caused actual harm. But that has never happened to me even once. I'm 100% of the time near enough to my kid to know if he's getting in trouble or causing trouble, and I can stop browsing Reddit to intervene. Most of the browsing is when he's on autopilot playing on his own. I've yet to find a Reddit thread more interesting than something I'm watching my child do. Yeah, put the phone down. I mean, or at least minimize it. Here's the thing. What stuck out was, and I'm a percentage guy like you are, I guess, but odds are that something's going to happen fairly soon that this kid's playing and you're not even half attention, it sounds like. And I think we all, at the playground, we all go to the phone. I usually, if I take the kids to the playground, I'll put the sports radio on in my pocket or music or something like that. But I'm paying attention. I'm well aware. I'm not even looking at them. I'm looking at some weirdo who's been at the park just a little too long, one click out, who's not eating lunch, who doesn't have a dog, who doesn't have kids, and who has already used the porta potty. Why are you still there? Why don't you take off now? It's okay. You could leave. So that's the guy I'm looking at. But you got to look at all over the place. We'll have that episode eventually, the safety episode. But put the phone down. Put the phone. You're a phone addict. I think you got to work on that first. In all fairness, so I can't help you. That's not. I'm not exactly judging you. Who should judge? We're all addicted to our phones. We all have the phones in our hands at all time. It's like an appendage now. So just maybe ease up a little bit because eventually the kid's going to turn into you. So they're going to have the remote control in one hand or the game controller and the phone in the other hand. And we don't want that to manifest in any negative way. So I'd say if you can, put the phone down. But at least you're honest, and that was a pretty funny post, actually. I like what you did with it. That was good. And honestly, we have to be honest with ourselves, right? But anyways, guys, that's it for today. Really appreciate you listening. And anytime you want, DM me, email the Fatherless Cheat Sheet podcast at gmail.com. Please like, please subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. See you soon.